Hello, welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I'll be your host today. My husband put a heater in here and it's like, woo. I dressed warmly, but I think I'm going to forego the heater because I think I'm dressed too warmly for it. How's everybody doing today? Welcome. Welcome. Let me open the chat here. And hopefully some people will start coming in and it'll be a meeting. Hi, Cosmic. Oh, okay. Hello, Seventh Son. I have to look around my mic stand. I have it where it's cleverly hidden from the camera, but I can't see my screen as well. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Peachy. We like peachy. Especially when there's cream with it. So yeah, I've got some videos queued up here on tools to survive the holiday. Take them or leave them, but they're decent. They're decent little suggestions. Hello, Plant Freak. Checking in on status of meeting here. 3 new women today, and one I actually know from a previous shelter. My goodness, Plant Freak.
Is that a good heater?
Yes. Thank you. And husband was asking about that heater that was about to blow me out of here. Woo. I don't know where he plugged it in at. Anyway, so here we go. I guess I'll go ahead and start up the videos, and we'll get her going. Okay, this first one is from a gentleman by the name of Jeremy Godwin.
It's November, and you know what that means. Mariah Carey is gently waking from her slumber and beginning to serenade us all. And you can't go into a single store without being reminded of the fact that there are only a few dozen days left to do your shopping for Christmas. Oh, and it's also almost the end of the year, so there's that looming sense of what happened to this year beginning to settle upon the land. But what if you feel a bit meh about the whole holiday season? What if you'd rather curl up into a ball and pretend it isn't happening? Well, you're in luck, because I have tips for looking after your mental health during the holiday season. So, let's talk about better mental health. Hello and welcome. I'm Jeremy Godwin, and I share practical ideas to help you improve your mental health every week here on Better Mental Health and in my podcast, Let's Talk About Mental Health. In this video, I'm talking about mental health and the holiday season, and I'll share 5 ways that you can get through this time of year without feeling like you've been hit by a truck by the end of it. So, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Well, except for when it's not. From Thanksgiving in North America through to Christmas and New Year's, it's almost impossible to avoid it all, regardless of whether you celebrate these occasions or not. You only have to pop into the supermarket these days and you will be bombarded with Christmas carols and decorations, along with more Christmas-related merchandise than you can shake a candy cane at. Actually, most of that stuff has been in the stores since about August, so anyway. The thing is that the holiday season can be joyful or it can be stressful, and all too often it can be a combination of both of those mixed in with a massive sense of obligation and exhaustion as we try to get through everything. Regardless of whether or not you have time off over the coming months, it's a difficult time for a variety of reasons, such as difficult family relationships, the loss of a loved one, being disconnected from family or friends, or not being able to spend time with loved ones, relationship issues, not having the money to do the things that you want. There are so many different hurdles at this time of year that it can be overwhelming and exhausting for many of us. If you're not having a great time at this supposedly joyful time of year, you're not alone. But dealing with the holidays.
Woo! when I was in San Diego, I didn't have, I spent a few years without any of my family at Christmas time. I'm on the phone with Michael. I'll be there soon. Okay. He's traveling today. Yeah. And the next video is on, navigating that if you feel like you're alone, and it'll be Mel Robbins, and she's always got great things to say and great insight and great advice, frankly. And but yeah, and even once I got to where I could have my family with me, it still was like, I, you know, I, Christmas was always a triggering time for me, not having my child with me. The last year, when I just met him, but knew I wasn't going to get to spend any holiday time with him, that was a rough one. I thought about not making it to that one in the land of the living. That's how serious it got. And it's the closest I've ever come to actually, going there. But it was actually him. It's actually, he was the one that was instrumental in pulling me off of that ledge, because I knew he'd been having some struggles of his own in mental health ways, and I thought, well, what kind of message is that sending about whether or not life is worth living if I'm giving up on it? You know what I mean? And so that's how I talked myself down from that ledge. And, I ended up calling a hotline, and they actually, I got, actually, it was a text line, and I got somebody who had real good insight, real good wisdom. I just happened to luck out there, because when I called the hotline, they hung up on me because I was so torn up inside. I couldn't force words out of me, and, but wow, I didn't expect that one to hit me that hard. But yeah, so after, a pretty lengthy text conversation, I was able to ask myself, okay, if I'm going to go ahead and do this thing, as in live, there's got to be a way where I can claim some of the power that, it felt like I was taking when I was making a decision about ending the torment that was going on in my mind and in my being, and so that began the search. And first thing I did is get off social media. I was off Facebook for a whole year. And the only thing that I did was post pictures to Instagram every now and again, but my Facebook was deactivated, so it wouldn't post anything to that. And, I like to keep my Instagram as kind of a little journal of when things happen in my life, because I forget, you don't think you will, but you do. The more years you accumulate in life. Didn't get that fly, dang it. Anyway, and so yeah, that was my worst. Reposition my microphone. Okay, how's that? Okay, I don't know. Muffled a bit now, Carol. How's that? How's this? Is that any better? Well, I don't know how much of that you caught, but anyway, I can't make myself go through that again.
I caught most of it.
Okay.
Well, all of it. I caught all of it. I'm just replying to my housemate. It's the whole thing. I'll be back.
How are you, Cosmic?
So apparently I have the flu.
Oh.
Possibly COVID. But it's too early to test.
Yeah.
I don't like to think I've got COVID because I've only managed to catch it once. And sorry, the Rona. It's too early for the Rones.
It's okay. We're not monetized.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah, it's too early to test for it because my son came down with it like bad today.
Hi.
He feels like
Can I stop you?
he's dying. I was like, I'll just wait to call my doctor this like today and see if I can get an appointment on Wednesday because I'm like,
Is that your son or your housemate that's also sick?
my son, and he's
Oh.
like, when he doesn't get sick very often, and he can be a little bit dramatic, but there's not this time, like he was burning up and he actually like was writhing around in pain on the bed with his lower back, and I'm just like, can't remember the symptoms. It's ticking all off, but it also ticks off the same for flu, like the actual flu. But
Yeah.
it's like it's summer here. It's not flu season. And I was just like, I did go to the festival, and they're all grotty hippie freaking rocks people. So I don't mean that, but kind of do. But yeah, and it was like a big crowd, but none of my friends have it, and one of my mates is immunocompromised. But so she's like the canary in the mine for all of us. If she's got something, we all know.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm the only one that's sick, and my housemate's little one is also sick. So we think she probably got it from school because kids are the canary in the mine, really. And they're the little carriers, but she's sick as well, so she's sick as well.
Oh.
Goodness.
Yeah, I actually really needed this meeting, and I kind of made out to my housemate that I wasn't going to participate because I don't like talking in front of people. And he goes, "You've had meetings before." I said, "I don't like talking about other people in front of them." He goes, "Oh." I was like, "Yeah." And he so he's finally getting it, but he's still not getting it, So yeah. So, but once again, I had to have a professional confirm my own what I knew already. I'm sick, I'm run down, and I said, like, that's what I said to him this morning when he came home. We went out to hang Christmas trees last night. I was like, oh God, I thank God he's going out to hang up someone's Christmas trees because I needed the space and the sleep and not to be harassed all night. And I don't think he does it maliciously. It's just that, some people don't know when to stop, and he's doesn't know when to stop.
Yeah.
And normally I can take it, and now I'm standing up for myself, and I'm giving back as good as I can get. And I actually said this morning, he's received a modicum, like a tiny amount of what he's given me, and I've just took it because I can't handle conflict in my house, and I'm still not. I still wake up in the morning, and even though I haven't gotten over the day before, as much as possible, until he starts on me, I just wipe the slate clean every day.
Okay.
Yeah, but if he puts a mark on the slate, I scribble all over that slate. Oh, but yeah, so, and also because I got called the home doctor, apparently my sprain's gone on too long and I have to go get a scan.
Okay.
So I'll probably go get it today. So I've probably broken or fractured. No, it's not a break. It will be a fracture.
Oh yeah, it's Monday where you are, isn't it? That's right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we have
Technically a day ahead.
Yeah, we have call-out doctors and they're bulk billed, which means we don't pay for them.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So that was like otherwise I would have been like, just wait till today. But yeah, other than that, like it's just I can't handle what's going on in my house, and it's just like, and I don't want to think that that's the reason I'm still drinking. It's because I haven't spoken to my doctor to see if I've adapted to this medication. Because so much is going on, I don't know if it's the medication.
Now, did you ask about how the medication might interact with alcohol?
Well, yeah, but I try and stop drinking before I take the medication.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I'm drinking so much Lilla because little air. Sorry, I've lived with Australians too long. We've shortened our words.
It's okay.
there's also, there's so many factors that I have to speak to my psychologist, which I have today,
Okay.
and also my doctor to see what the factors are all coming into play are, because there's so many at the moment that I don't know what's what. Like
Fair.
the dizziness could be the food or, the medication, or the fact that I'm coming off alcohol because I'm sleeping so much, so quick. So I'm coming off drinking so quickly.
Oh,
Like, like I'm maintaining enough. Like I don't have the outside shakes, but I get the inside shakes. I
Oh.
don't know if
Okay.
that's something that I can explain properly.
I think I get what you're saying. I think I've experienced something similar. Maybe not necessarily coming off of alcohol, but just I
Yeah,
can
and
relate to that feeling, in other words.
yeah, and I don't know whether that's anxiety and it's
Okay.
coming over this is to do with mental health,
Yeah.
which is to do with the video, and that's coming over like the fact that my housemate's mother is meant to be coming on the 20th and my house is a mess, but my cleaning crew is meant to be coming today to help me wash my hair because they've got a chair that I can help in the shower because I can't do anything with this hand.
Okay.
And I said to my housemate today, see, I'm not making it up.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's been doing, and that's something that I speak about with my therapist all the time. I feel like I've never believed just because I don't look disabled doesn't mean I have disabilities,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
and they're exacerbated by illness,
Yeah.
and it's just it's all hidden, and that's something that I think someone said, if it doesn't look like you have things wrong on the outside, people don't treat you like there's something wrong on the inside.
Right.
So
Right.
I feel like it's pretty relevant to the video. Anyway, I've got it out. So yeah.
Okay. Do you, does it help? Did it help any?
Well, the problem's still going to come home later, and
Oh, gotcha.
but he's not really a problem. Like he's feeling a bit. Obviously, he's a lot calmer after the Christmas light situation, and I said that. But I also said there was no need to lie. I'm not. I don't care. Do what you like, as long as he's leaving me alone. So
Yeah. Misha says, I see you, Cosmic Christie. I believe you. I love you.
Exactly.
You too,
I love
Miss.
you.
Second math.
Thank you. Yeah, it does feel better, but it just feels like I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. Like Groundhog Day.
You're going to be going through a little bit of a hard process with all this. You're on new medication. You're trying to go ahead and stop drinking again. And I know you're taking a different approach this time, and that's good. So I would expect nothing less, Cosmic.
Yeah.
Just
I agree.
feels like everything's piling on top of me, and it just makes me more determined, because if I was rolling drunk like I was last year, there's no way I would handle this. It would be meltdown after meltdown. I'm already having that, like, not meltdowns, just tears. Lots of tears.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll be fine. I get through everything, If I haven't got through everything, I've been through so much already. If I can't get through this, then what else is there?
Right. That's
So I'm
true.
going through.
But I know that
Lemonade
I know
and
you
water.
can get through this.
Yeah. And the only question is how you get through it, and we're here. We're not going anywhere.
I'll muddle through it like I do everything else, and I've got the support group, which I think helps, because I do it every day, and it's something and I love routine.
Yeah.
So I wake up at 7.
Yeah. And that's a really important part of recovery too, is developing a new routine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it helps. Make sure I'm up at 7. I might go to bed, and I may not get out of bed while I watch the meeting some days.
Yeah.
But at least I'm awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you're
being
here.
present and here.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, it is.
That's really important,
Yeah.
you know,
So,
and it shows how committed you are
Yeah, it
to
does.
things, you know, I mean, to be here. So what if you're laying in bed
Yeah.
watching,
Yeah.
watching it? I can't tell you how many times in the morning I'm watching the lifeboat and I got my coffee and I'm like trying to wake up. So, like you're here and that's what matters.
yeah. Yeah, I normally do that with Tommy's meeting at night for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah. All right. Well, that's my bit. I don't want to take up the whole thing.
You're
So.
fine. Hey, Christy, can you see comments?
I see that Seventh asked, how is our Michael today? He's good. He drove 3.5 hours in a blizzard yesterday from
Oh,
Kenai, Alaska to
dear
Anchorage,
God.
Alaska, so that he could catch his plane. And he almost missed his plane this morning, caught it. He just landed in Seattle. He's going to have a layover for about an hour and a half, and then he's going to fly into Denver. And then take a shuttle over close by my mom. So he won't actually be done traveling until about 10 o'clock tonight. So he would have traveled
Okay.
like
Oh,
13 hours today and
Ouch.
1, 2, 3 time zones. So
But he's coming from within the span of that time. It's from Alaska, right?
yeah. So it's Alaska to Seattle, Seattle to
wow.
Denver, Denver to Fort Collins. And then he'll stay
Woo.
the night with my mom tonight and
Okay.
get up in the morning and go have breakfast with her. And then he's going to head to El Paso, Texas. And he'll be there until around Christmas, and then he's going to go see one of the older girls. She is not the oldest, she's the second oldest, and 4 of the grandbabies over Christmas, and then he'll be home sometime after Christmas for a few days, maybe a week, and then he's off to Baltimore to the next job where he'll be for anywhere from 3 to 6 months. So yeah.
And then
Wow.
Lord Kiss Freak says, Christy, I'm sorry I missed one of your questions yesterday, but caught it on the replay.
Uh-huh.
Yes, my daughter has come back here to visit, but only 5 times in the last 6 years.
Oh, well, at least she's coming
Flights are so
back.
expensive.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, and it's okay. I ask questions kind of fast sometimes. They're pretty easy to get to. So, but yeah, so that's what's been going on. So if you see me just kind of wave for a minute, it's probably me just hopping off to take one of his calls. But
okay.
but I'll be back on if I can. I usually, because he's not really ever home, whenever he calls, he is the one person that I will drop everything and pick up for,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
everybody else
Understandable.
is kind of, well, him and one of the kids, because some of the other kids just kind of call to talk, but one of the girls, when they call, it's always like, oh, okay, that's a real thing. So if you ever see me do this, it just means I'll be right back if I can. I'm not trying to be rude, but
Yeah,
yeah,
understood.
just
Yeah, no
so,
problem.
yeah,
No worries.
we have to talk a lot because we're not, like I said, out of 12 months out of the year, we're together maybe a month, and it's not all at once. It's spread out. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
but it's okay. We manage.
I know. It can't be
So-
easy though.
No, it
Yeah.
it it is. I was joking with one of the neighbors up the road. I said, he goes, when he finally quits and retires, like you guys might find you don't like each other. And I just kind of laughed and I said, well, I think we're both people who really like our independence and like just kind of doing our own thing. And sometimes when you're together, that doesn't always work. So I think this is a good groove. As odd of a situation as it is, it really works. I don't really know,
Okay.
but for us, it works. I mean, we definitely have our problems, and there's issues that come up with him being on the road a lot. I get asked a lot of questions like, does he cheat on you? Has he ever cheated on you? Like those kind of things. And
Yeah.
but we're just very open and honest, and we communicate about everything, and we talk about that, and we you know.
Who knows? You might even be talking more in the situation that you're in than if you were living together.
Well, that's what my mom said. She's like, you
Yeah.
guys talk more than anybody, any couple together, because it's not like I don't get to, wake up and hand him a coffee and kiss him as he heads out the door. I talk to him on his way to work, or he calls me on the way into town, to go do things. So, the effort is there. I think it just looks very different than most
Yeah.
people. And when I was on the road with him, because I was on the road with him for 7 years, I still spent like 12 hours a day by myself, I mean, and
Yeah.
and it was 12 hours a day in a hotel room. And it was a tiny little space. And I loved traveling, and I loved a lot about the life. But being in a hotel room in a place where you don't necessarily know everybody, and not always having a car to get around, it can be a little tricky. So I think in some ways this is better, because I can be creative, I can make my things, I can run into Hobby Lobby, I can go, like visit my aunt who lives a couple hours away, and it's not you know quite as crazy. But yeah, you know.
Well, how are you, Stasia?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm doing pretty good. I just had a cough. I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling the holidays looming, starting to feel the holidays looming, but I also think that that's stress for tomorrow and Tuesday.
Yeah.
So some pretty big conversations to have tomorrow, and then I was really hoping to get more news on Tuesday, but from speaking with my lawyer on Friday, I'm not too sure how well that's going to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, it's not so much. It's more so me getting home.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
even know if that's going to be able to happen as soon as I thought.
Oh.
So I'm feeling a little bit discouraged about it. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed that I didn't want to hear that, and I understand that she needs to be upfront with me, and I appreciate that, but
Mhm.
I feel like I'm being made to stay somewhere I never really wanted to go, but because I agreed to come, and therefore that's where the loophole is.
Oh.
So,
Well,
because I
mean,
agreed to
you're
follow
in a
this individual to a different
I don't
province.
understand that. If you're in a relationship, one of you's got to give on a location. If you're in separate locations, or one of
Yeah.
you in different locations, what does that have
Well,
to
I'm
do
gonna.
with anything?
Yeah.
Apparently, specifically this province for visitation, it can become rather muffled and difficult. So what I'm going to try and emphasize is Rowan in school, and how he's really not, his socialization level went down huge coming here, like his want to socialize.
Yeah.
On top of that, I feel it to be extremely inhumane to keep both of us here when we don't particularly want to figure out the language.
Yes.
As well as, like, my option was going back to where my daughter is, which would be 8.5 hours
Yeah.
from his he who shall not be named, from his doorstep to the next doorstep. It's
Okay.
8.5 hours.
Yeah. That's not
Started
bad.
talking to the realtor that sold our last house in and around Trenton, Ontario.
Okay.
So I spoke to her, asked her how much 2-bedroom rentals are going for there. That might be able to help the judge a little bit, because it's the halfway point between
Okay.
me and Mandrew. So it's, at least I would be getting 4 hours closer.
Okay.
So that's another thing that I'm thinking about.
Do you think eventually you'll be able to get all the way there? Just going to take a little longer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, I'm not really going to stop the fight to get there.
Yeah.
So it's, no matter what, somebody's going to have to wear down eventually.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of things that are waiting on child services, and I'm waiting on, statements that were taken as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I understand that you guys might need me here for certain aspects, but you can at least let me go and then come back when I need to.
Right.
That's the way that I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I understand you're in a different country. and that
Yeah.
that is a real thing. But here, the government, the court cannot stop a parent from moving anywhere, especially if it improves their life and their child's life. Now, it might look different with visitation. Now, again, I said I understand you're in a different country. I get it. But
Not
the
only that,
way
Quebec's a different country within Canada.
really,
Okay.
oh,
It's like
so
Quebec
would
is
they
so
be
different compared to all other provinces.
Okay.
now? So you know, that's unfortunate. Like, would they be? Are you? Well, I don't know how to ask this without it not sounding rude. So please understand, I'm not saying. Are you trying to get like sole custody and residential custody and like everything is you and he has no rights, or he only has
No, that's
visitation?
never what I want. That's never what I want. I find it extremely important, especially because I lost my mother so young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it extremely important that both parents, as long as they're living,
Yeah.
are a part of the child's life, unless there's huge extenuating circumstances. Now, that might be applying here, though, because we had the child services get involved,
Yeah.
right? So, with child services involved, right now it's supervised visitation.
Oh,
So, that might be where that loophole is falling for me right now.
oh,
How do we get this supervised visitation in the other province?
mhm,
But yet I had a file opened with Ontario because Quebec wasn't listening to me.
uh-huh.
So like I was honest with them being like, I want to come back to Ontario. I need people to be on my side. And I'm feeling like right now child services here is just not listening.
Yeah.
So
And I would think having
they closed.
a support system, like, again, understand it's different countries, but here, even when a mom, like if she's moving to a place where there's more support, and a better, like, I mean, I guess, and again, I guess my argument would be, you know, I'm having more support. It's a better quality of life. It's better for my child because, as you mentioned, the socialization. You can come back and do the supervised visits, like, you know,
Exactly.
and again,
Exactly.
I understand I'm coming from a different place with different rules, and you know, the things that I know to be true as an American is not true. But you know, maybe it's something to ask, like, if nothing else, just, hey, is there some way, you know, can we show the judge that this is beneficial for me and beneficial for my child? And I think it's, you know, important that you know, you say, look, it's not my intent to completely, you know, like terminate parental rights. I still want him to see his child, you know.
Yes.
But gosh, that's so tricky. And I'm so sorry. I mean, family court is tricky enough. I spent 10 years in and out of family court. And like, and I get how tricky that is. And then you just add the stress on top of it of feeling like you're stuck and you can't go and you're somewhere where, like you said, you don't want to learn the language and it's not beneficial for your child. Like, that's got to be a very difficult place to.
See, the way that I'm seeing it right now is even if they tell me I had to bring Rowan back here for visitation, I'd probably throw up a fight. I'd be like, I don't want to deal with Quebec anymore. I want you to transfer my case to Ontario. The reason being is I can speak the language to that Ontarian. I don't have to translate what I'm saying and then something gets lost in translation. You know, on top of that, the lawyer that's represented me for the first 3 court dates, she was only supposed to deal with the Supreme Court, which was the first court date, not the family, not the Child Services Court, or Youth Protection, sorry. Just because her coworker was on vacation. So now her coworker's back. She's gone through the case with her, but I'm feeling like things just fell off. You know what I mean? Like, I don't blame it on anybody. There's always miscommunication when you're playing broken telephone.
Right.
But there's certain points that are like, this is the biggest part to me. This is the most important. And it's not just for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is for the child as well. And that's what
Yeah, I mean,
we're
you're
in
having
court for, youth
trouble- you're having
protection.
trouble with the
So
language barrier. Your child's having trouble with the language barrier.
Yeah.
exactly.
You should,
It's
I don't-
frustrating. It is so frustrating.
I'm not sure what the laws are
So-
like there, but over here they're strengthening the coercion laws because you didn't. You may not have chosen to go there. Like when you're in a relationship, and especially if it's an abusive relationship, it's over here. It's called coercion. Like you're coerced to do it. If you can get one of your support workers to look in, or someone, your lawyer, to look into coercion laws. Because if you're coerced into moving, then with like abusive narcissistic relationships, they make you think it's your choice. So it's complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially narcissists who
And like, I made that choice also in front of a therapist. Like, it was like, well, if she wants to come with me, then these things need to change. It's like, great, but we still haven't addressed my problems.
Yeah.
So are we going to address these problems before moving? And it's like, yeah. Like, of course. Now I'm 2 years later and it's still not addressed and I'm gone.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why they now no longer really like to do couples therapy, especially if it's court ordered or anything like that, because it tends to be the narcissists, especially covert, even overt. They're so clever at turning that therapist around.
I went to therapy with my ex, the covert narcissist, and I felt ganged up on by the therapist and him.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Different. And then because I went to do couples therapy because I'm like, there must be something about me, and maybe it's just because I just can't keep a relationship, and I'd only had like not very many before, and this was in my not that long ago really, and and I went through this particular system, and because he refused to do separate therapy first, they refused to do couples therapy. So that was good, because what they do over here is they'll do the two people with two separate therapists together apart, and then they'll come together with another therapist, and then confer as a trio, and then that other therapist as a non related party to the couple will then take notes and then come to that couple if the couple wants to continue. And I spoke to my therapist, and he said that it tends to be the narcissist won't continue at that point.
See, that's how I got my bipolar diagnosis that wasn't accurate, was through couples therapy, sitting there saying she's this and she's that and she's this and she's that, and we were paying out of pocket for that care. It was private pay for the best psychiatrist in town. So it was not like I didn't have a chance in Hades going into that thing. I didn't realize it at the time. It was just because the question, like, literally, and I don't know if you guys have ever, like, these were the questions I was asked. Have you ever bought anything and then felt sorry for it? Well, yeah, who hasn't?
Yes.
Have you ever have you ever experimented with drugs and alcohol? Meaning, have you ever had an alcoholic drink? Have you ever tried a drug? Yes. Do you enjoy sex? Those were some of the defining things, because
that's not any way to diagnose a disorder.
Right. But apparently,
especially bipolar.
Apparently, because of the way it's listed in the diagnostic thing at the time. Now, I don't know if it's changed. I don't know if I don't know how.
Many more questions.
Well, I mean, there was more questions than that. But do you find your moods going up and down? Yes. They were asked to in such a basic way. Like, there was no I couldn't explain anything. I mean, I mentally couldn't have explained anything at the time anyway, but like that's how I got it. And then, of course, the medications were not working because that is not what I am or what I have. And so when it wasn't working, instead of somebody going back and saying this could be a bad diagnosis, they just kept increasing and adding and increasing and adding. And I was just like,
Whew.
what? And by the time I got out of it all, and see, mine was all situational. Like my depression was situational, my mood swings was situational, I was in such survival mode that everything really was situational. Now, did I need antidepressants? Yeah, I really probably did. Did I need some of the medications that I had? Maybe one of them, but probably not all of them.
Yeah.
And when I went to the doctor and told him what I was on, I mean, the doctor damn near fell over, and was like, how are you functioning? And so I do see, I think it's good that you're not allowed couples therapy. And to get back to you, Stasia, like coercion is a thing.
Yeah.
And, and I would ask, see, I don't know what it's like there, but here, you have to prove something. Like you can't just go into court and say it. Your attorney can't just go say it. You have to go in and say, this happened and this is how, and this is why. If you just go in and say, I felt this way here, they're going to say, well, where's the facts? Because we appreciate how you felt, but where's the facts? And so maybe the disconnect between you and this new attorney, maybe it's a factual thing. Maybe you're in an emotional place right now, which anyone would be. There's nothing wrong with that. But maybe you're in such an emotional place because you feel everything's slipping, like it's the holidays and you're not home and your daughter was close and now that's slipping away and the relationship is slipping away and there's this language barrier and you're kind of like grabbing at all of these things, which is normal and there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe you're just really in your emotional mind right now, and maybe the questions for you to ask, not because it's your fault or you're doing anything wrong, is, okay, this is where I'm at. What proof do you need? And maybe the burden of proof is such that you aren't going to be able to prove it. Because like, again, here in the States, I agreed to go, it was under coercion. Well, okay, prove that. That's a hard thing to prove, but maybe there's something else that you can prove that's just as important. You know what I mean? Maybe you can't prove, hey, I was taken here under coercion, but maybe there's something else that would have just as much weight with the judge that neither one of you are thinking about because you're emotional. Like she just got back from vacation. It's the holidays. You switched attorneys, which always sucks. That's like such a bad thing. When you do that, especially when you've connected with one and since the other one, you could even go to her and say something like, listen, I know that your coworker is probably a fabulous attorney. I'm just not really feeling heard. And I feel like my concerns are not being addressed. Can you please help me to get this down in a way that we can all work together to get where I want to be? Because ultimately your attorneys are working for you and they want the best outcome. And a lot of times what I've found, and again, this is 10 years of in and out of family court, I realized that sometimes what we say as lay people, we just think, well, you should just be able to go do this. Why can't you argue that? Well, they can't argue it because they have to have a statute to support it. They have to have a law to support it. They have to have evidence to support it. So anytime somebody says, hey, like I was taken under duress. Okay, well, that was said to a therapist. That's privileged. So, how would you bring that in? Can you bring that in? Is there something else? Like here,
well, I know that like I had signed a consent form, but it wasn't for my lawyer. It was for child services to speak to that lawyer, or not lawyer, sorry, therapist. I apologize.
Yeah, no.
So I signed a consent form for that. And one of my biggest concerns when I did that was 2 DV incidents happened while we were seeing that therapist.
Mhm.
But I cared so greatly about his career, and I cared so greatly about how he outwardly looked because he cared.
Mhm.
I didn't say anything there.
Mhm.
I kept that all in, and then they wonder why I can't keep my emotions in, and I need to like get up and move and get the hell out of that room. Sorry, 1 second.
Cosmic, I love your robe. I love the little ball. Like, it's so cute. It looks so comfy.
Sorry, I'm back.
Got the little ears.
Oh my god, it's got ears.
Yeah. So you
Might be a
did.
fan of all ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't say anything in couples therapy because I cared so much.
Yeah.
And, they tried calling. I'm on here. We'll call after, okay?
They tried calling?
Yeah, we'll call after, okay? He got a couple friends added to his little Facebook kids messenger. Please wait, yes. So he's super excited. They've been setting like voice clips back and forth in the last couple of days. It's been really cute.
Owen did not send any. I want to see if Alex said.
Okay. Yeah, so I never said anything because I cared about his career.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
not like
I really miss you.
the career he has, like you've got to be careful. Like you
Mhm.
can't get in trouble. You can't be doing certain drugs. Like if
Yeah.
I was fully open and honest about that, I was terrified that this therapist would have gone back to his
Yes,
job
that's a
and
very
said,
real
"This is all
possibility.
happening."
That's
Yes.
a real possibility. 100%.
So I'm terrified. I don't want to speak. And then they wonder why I'm so worked up and feel like I'm completely unheard because I have to bring up small things to say what happened for the big things that I can't bring up.
Alex
Oh.
did send.
Okay.
Oral.
So it felt like a rock in a hard place. And then I was like, you know what? I want to work this out. You're telling me that you're satisfied with the couples therapy we've had and that that my issue you're now going to talk about, you're promising in front of a professional, this is going to happen. And now I'm 2 years later, still hasn't been talked about. I'm being told before it's all too small, it's all too trivial. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm done now. Like the last DV, that is it. I didn't fully realize until leaving, and I think that this is typical, I guess, within especially a covert narcissistic relationship, all of the things. And now that I'm starting to process everything, one type of abuse, it was all
Mhm.
types of abuse.
Yeah.
And that has been overwhelming in itself. So I'm sure that that's adding on top of all of my frustration as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder if and I don't know that this is something that could even happen, but I wonder if your therapist now could talk to your attorney now, and the two of them could like work together. Like your therapist could help your attorney understand, like, this is where this is coming from, and then your attorney could maybe say, oh, legally we can do this, because some of it might be kind of difficult, but I'm sure there's a way to get it there. I just think your
Yes.
attorney probably needs to understand really well where you're coming from. And I think she, right?
Yes.
She probably doesn't understand that yet,
That's what I
and
think as well.
and I know that for me, I could go in and sit down and say, I'm paying you, so you're going to sit down and you're going to listen to this, and we're going to sort this out, and you're going to help me, or I will go pay someone else.
Mhm.
Now I understand that's not always the case, but they agreed to take your case, and as such, they have to represent you to the best of their ability. And if they're not listening to you, if they're not taking into concerns your mental health, your physical health, all of these other things, they're not able to then represent you to the fullest of their ability. And,
Mhm.
there comes a time when and I found this the hard way, and it was so hard for me to do. you really have to stand up for yourself, and you really have to go in there and say, listen, this isn't working. This is, and you're not always going to get everything you want, but you can get a lot of what, you can at least be heard, and feeling like you're not being heard by someone who has control of your future in a legal way is a really tough spot to be
Oh,
in. Like
yeah.
it's a very vulnerable place.
Yeah.
And on top of everything else, dealing with your sobriety,
Mhm.
it's a lot.
Like, I think I know I'm gonna have a call with her tomorrow, but I also have a call with Child Services first. So I'm just gotta kind of sit there and listen to the first call, you know what I mean? But the
Okay.
second call, I think what I'm gonna do is be like, okay, before we even get into what was talked about earlier today, these things need to be addressed. These things need to be discussed.
Mhm.
Because I can't figure these out on my own. I need your help.
Yeah.
So I have like 4 or 5 little papers right now. Every single time I think of something, I'm writing it down. Then it's like a super colorful paper. So I
Yeah,
it's
right.
written down. I have it here, and maybe she'll hear the emotion.
And sometimes that's it. Sometimes you just have to let him hear the emotion. You have to let him hear the frustration, so that they know how serious you are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing. Yeah, it's such a tough place to be.
It is.
It's times like these I wish that I was like a lawyer. I always wanted to go to law school. It's times like these I wish I was a lawyer and I could just be like, all right, I'll represent you. Let's go.
For real.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that if you can prove that it happened, that it's happening now, it shows
Yeah.
that it can it's likely that it happened then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
that shows history. Like even if you can show that it's been happening over a certain history, that you can. And I don't know, different laws, different
I'm sorry.
countries.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. Different laws,
You
different
wouldn't
countries.
mind
but-
repeating that, Cosmic?
Oh, I'm showing if you can show that there's a history of coercion, that's if there's any sort of even laws about it. But if you can show that there's a history of coercion, generally, it shows that this is in my own situation,
Yes.
even heading into the past. It shows that my story is more believable because even though I haven't come forward and reported, it shows that there's a history of it, and there's been, my story is believable because there's.
Let me ask you this. Did you
Okay.
always live in Quebec with him?
No. So when I met him, he was training in Ontario.
Okay.
We were talking back and forth just over FaceTime. Sorry, as soon as I'm talking myself, he's like, I'm going to get involved. I will do it after. Right now I'm talking. You need to wait. Sorry. So he was training in Ontario when I met him, but he was also on break. So like there was a little 2 or 3 month break and he was home with his family.
How's your type in there?
Sorry. I'm like this. I'm hoping it works.
It's cutting out.
For
It's
2
cutting
months
out.
and then. Okay. Oh, is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it was switching from internet to the cell service.
Oh, okay.
So met him in Ontario, moved from Ontario to Quebec very shortly after meeting him in person. You're not going to have it back. And then from Quebec, within a couple of months, Winnipeg, so Manitoba. And
Okay.
then we had moved from Manitoba to Ontario, so that he could be close.
You're cutting out.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. My phone hates me today. So we were polyamorous. I don't know if he still is, but I know I still am whenever I decide to get there again. So we lived as a triad, so the three of us.
Okay.
And then when him and his wife separated, she went back to Quebec. We, being he who shall not be named and myself, went to Ontario. And then now we are in Quebec after Ontario so that he could be closer to his son. And that was, I was like, okay, family support. You're closer to your oldest son. Rowan's then, or he's going to be around his brother all the time, right? It's going to be good. But the family support wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's not like all of the things I said I would need assistance on moving to this province was given to me by that individual.
Okay.
I had to reach out to their family members to be like, hey, can you translate this voicemail call for me? Because I have no idea what the doctor is telling me.
Mm.
So it's like it was an emergency situation. To me, it was anyways. I was freaking out. I had a pap smear that came back as abnormal. They asked me to go for another one. It came back abnormal. Then they said, we want a biopsy. We want this, we want that. And then of course, by the time it's all like taken a look at, it's in Quebec. And they leave a voicemail for me in French.
Yeah.
And I have no clue what they're saying. So now I have to feel completely uncomfortable and reach out to one of his family members to say, can you translate this for me? Because I have no idea what they're saying. And like, this is a situation that I would not just share with anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I would not just say, hey, family member I don't know very well, and I really don't want you knowing about my sexual health, because to be perfectly honest, he's involved in that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have enough of these little things, and I understand that they're small, but they add up.
Well, so
And then they turn into a mountain.
so why can't you at least get over the line into an English speaking situation?
Because it would be a different sector for child services. And then at that point, I would have two people involved, two different child services involved, because I would need assistance wherever I'm going, not only initially for financial, but also for psychological. So to be able to get into the proper therapist to deal with some of the traumas that I've gone through, all of these things. But they said it would just get too confusing having two involved. And I'm like, I understand that in the investigation sense, but I do not understand how.
Are you prevented legally in any way, shape, or form from going to where you can function in a society that speaks the language you speak?
That's where I'm so very confused right now. I need clarity on that. That's another reason why I feel like tomorrow's conversation is going to be really good.
Okay.
Because due to the situation, I have support. It would be completely and utterly inhumane to keep me here. In my
Yes,
opinion,
it is.
and in multiple people's opinion that I've spoken to, and not just you folks, which it's nice to be agreed with, don't get me wrong, but it's like, it's a whole complete different country within a country. And I'm so confused.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting. It's
So, I
literally
mean,
waiting game
they
until
have-
Monday.
If you were to go into the country that you need to go to be able to have people that speak your language, and you can actually get something done in court or whatever it is that's needed, would Quebec have any jurisdiction there?
No.
Is there like extradition or anything like that, or?
No. So it was still just a province. Like it's not technically its own country yet. I feel like it's definitely going in that direction though. But all provinces don't talk to each other. So, like, for example, he who shall not be named had a ticket in Alberta, never had to deal with that ticket because after moving, the province doesn't talk to the other province.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of with child services as well. Right now, they're talking to each other. In my case, because I chose to open a file in Ontario. I chose to call and say, I want to leave this province and I want to leave soon. I don't know how I'm going to do it because child services here isn't listening. And then once we got the court order that he would have to, my son would have to go for a weekend, I was like, no. And I'm on the phone calling, you need to be involved now. And then when they got involved, I had to stop, not even stop cooperating with Ontario, but like inform them, I'm not able to leave because there's an investigation going on with this child services, essentially. So I know I confuse things by getting another province involved as well, but what else am I supposed to do? I feel like, honestly.
Right. That's right.
I really don't understand the humanity behind it. Like I feel like there is none.
Right.
So I just Googled so that I could understand. I did not know this. So for anybody out there who didn't know this, apparently there was a bill passed, Bill 96 was passed on June 1st, 2023, requiring all services be in French.
Yes.
So
and he was aware of this before moving me.
It used to be bilingual, but when this passed, it said all services are now in French. That was a bill that was passed in June.
Yeah. And we moved July.
So you're essentially like if France was plopped down in the middle of the United States and you couldn't go anywhere else, like it was its own country, but so I'm starting to understand why you're stuck. Because before I couldn't get my head around why you were like, I know you're telling me the truth. I just couldn't, my American brain couldn't get my head around. Why can't you just, because to me, it would be like, why can't you just leave the state? Like, because we can do that. We can just go, like, we can leave the state. There's not a legal thing that stops. Now, like, could you get in trouble for it? Sure. Could things happen? Yeah. But ultimately, the government can't tell us, "Oh, you got to stay here." But it says right here that a lot of people are worried about, or were worried about access to things. So, wow, gosh, I didn't realize it was like a whole bill. I just thought maybe nobody.
No, they passed it. It wasn't this June 2023. It was 2022, and we moved July the following month to this province.
Wow.
And I have my voicemail literally says, leave messages in English. Thanks. Like because otherwise everything comes in French. And even then, yes, 7th, I do have Translate, thank God, but it's difficult to take a phone call and translate it.
Yeah.
And then it's even more difficult with a voicemail.
Yeah.
So at least with a phone call, I can easily record on my son's phone and then put it into Translate. It just takes forever.
Yeah.
But a voicemail, I can't.
Yeah.
Like it's too muffly by the time that I record it on my son's phone.
Mm-hmm.
So.
How frustrating.
Yeah, then so sorry. And of course, Rowan's like, you're talking today. So.
No, you're fine. Well, and like I said, I don't want you to think that it's not that I didn't believe you. I just was having trouble wrapping my head or like understanding how can somebody do this?
Yes. Yeah. And I don't have enough of the full legal understanding or any of that to be able to explain it well to somebody. Sure. You know what I mean?
Sure,
and I completely forgot about the bill. To be honest, I knew that all of my services were going to be in English or French, and I knew I was going to need a translator. But the translators that I was told moving here I'd have full access to, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'd have to wait 3 months. And it's like, but my health isn't going to wait 3 months. This isn't going to wait 3 months, or this isn't going to wait 3 months. It's exhausting. It's like they need to force you to speak the language. And then my own personal hatred. It's like, you're forcing me to try and learn French because you want to preserve the language. But can I be perfectly honest? You filled this province with convicts. That's how it was founded. So, but like, no, don't try and tell me that I need to learn this because you were so completely inclusive when you founded this province. Why can't you be inclusive now?
Yeah.
You know, it's frustrating AF.
Wow. See, and
Ah.
Chris says, and French in Quebec is not like French from France. Lots of slang, so it's hard to translate with an app. Oh. And
Oh,
then
Yeah, it's
Andrew says
Franglish.
that's
it's the reason,
messy.
yeah, it's the reason why a lot of Canadians, I can't, I've got something in the way.
Quebecistan.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I just
Yeah.
didn't, gosh.
Uh,
So I got myself into a pickle this time, guys.
Yeah.
Moving here.
You know, it's like
shoot.
there's got to be something. I mean, there's got to be.
There does.
And I think it's just a matter of not asking the right questions and not asking the right questions because you don't really know what questions need to be asked. So
Right.
it's not like you're not intelligent enough to ask the right questions because you totally are. It's just not knowing what you even need to ask. And that's frustrating because you don't even know where to start. Like, you know,
You
how
do?
do I get understood?
Did you see this, Stasia?
Yes. I can message Chris. He can translate. Yes.
Okay.
I'd be like,
Okay.
Chris, I'm bringing you into the lawyer's office.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So it was like, that's why when I first met you guys, it was probably very confusing. Why I was like, I need to flee this province.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what, and it was probably very confusing. Be like, well, why do you need to flee the province
Well,
to get somewhere where you have support? You know?
Right.
I mean, well, and it's
Oh, I
just,
forgot about it.
go into a place where you have support. Like I'm never gonna question why somebody needs to flee. You know, if someone's like, I need to flee, I'm like, oh, what do I need to do? Like, do send money? What do you need?
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
you know.
And technically, any province in Canada, if you decide to leave the province with your child and you're leaving a marriage or a common law relationship, you're kidnapping your own child.
Mhm.
It's now not just inter-Canadian law, they consider it international family law. Even though I'm leaving one province to another Canadian province.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes.
Ooh.
I know it can get really tricky that way because someone that I love, she did that, took the kids, booked out in the middle of the night to another state and got in a heap of trouble and got super hemmed up over the whole deal. Now it's not international, but you know, the whole attitude was, well, no one can stop me. Well, yeah, they can't, but they kind of can. So, I mean,
Exactly.
like, and I understand, and I kind of understand that because, you know, there are people that do really awful things like kidnap their kids because they're the parent that is the unhealthy parent, and you've got to, hey, you know, protect. But
Hey, superhero.
hello, who are we today?
Miles.
Miles Morales.
There we go.
But he's got Bowser on. We were gaming this morning. We were playing some Mario Kart, and of course, my 6-year-old can kick my butt.
Well,
I actually really went.
Yeah. There you go. Does that feel better now?
She went 3 times and I went 2 times.
well,
There we go.
I hope that things are much better tomorrow, that you get answers and that you are able to sort it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's also, you know, I may be ranting at this point, but like, I feel like with their job title, he who shall not be named, like with their job,
Mhm.
I don't care. You can move. Ask. Do it. You asked to move me 2 times.
Yeah.
So why the hell can't you do it now?
Yeah.
You know, and like this is I understand that this is anger and I understand that this is
Yeah.
complete and utter resentment as well. But like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And like I contacted Jag. You think they've ever contacted me back? No.
Yeah.
They still have not contacted me back since I met you guys. So it's like, okay, you know what? You guys can figure out whatever you need to figure out for your member, but I need to figure out where I feel better because I'm not connected to any of this anymore.
Right.
Well,
So,
and I don't know about Canada, but in the States, JAG is for the military member, like they're gonna, like you said, protect their own. I mean, they take a lot of things
exactly.
really seriously, but ultimately it's not for,
It's not for the civilian.
yeah.
No. And we were never married, so that also makes things more difficult. I don't know what it's like in the States for common law, but for Canada, it's nowhere close to the same rights as being married to this individual. And I myself,
Mhm.
I think I've said this before with you guys, but my current state of mind, even my previous state of mind, the things I've gone through, I
Mhm.
will never get married.
Mhm.
Again,
Wow.
that might change, but I will never get married, in my opinion, right now.
Sure, sure.
So, like, I've been through 2 major relationships, Mandrew and He Who Shall Not Be Named,
Mhm.
and both of them are 11 years, and neither one of them I was married to.
So now, do you have
So,
to get a divorce if you're common law? Like,
I just have to inform the government, but it has to be 90 days after this separation.
so then really the only thing you're battling is custody.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I thought y'all were married and like going through a
No.
divorce. Okay, so this is
No.
only, I use that because I know it's a big deal. I'm not making light of it, but this is just a custody issue.
That is it. That is it. And then there's going to be other
Okay.
aspects as well because there was statements taken from both me and Wee Man. So there's going to be other aspects to it, but right now the only thing that can be dealt with until those papers hit the top of a pile on the other side, then it is just custody right now. And as soon as I can get that figured
Okay.
out, I'm settled. But at the same time, it was like I was
Okay.
settled. I was certain. Lawyer change, and what the hell did you just say to me? You know, and I was like, I need to be
Okay.
clear. If this happens, I can go home, right? And she's like, no, I can't guarantee that. I'm like, what? And at that point, I know I could have asked questions. I know as a human being, I could have, but as Stasia, I shut down. I stopped. I shut down and I just started listening, and that's it.
Okay.
So it was like, I know I could have asked questions, but it was like, I know you're a new lawyer. You're telling me this. And after I was just talking to the other lawyer and she was giving me hope. So now it's just like, oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's okay. This is starting to make more sense now. Not that it didn't make sense before. I just think I was looking at it differently.
Okay.
So did she maybe just say, I can't? Here's a thought. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here to give you another side to think about because that's what I do.
Okay.
Maybe the only reason she said I can't guarantee that was because maybe she didn't want to get your hopes up that she could promise that, and then if it didn't happen, maybe she didn't want to get your hopes up unnecessarily. That's how I'm looking to see.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she was right in saying that. I'm not saying you were wrong in how you handled that. I'm just saying maybe the reason she said that, maybe at some point in her career, something had happened and she had made a promise and then it fell through and then she felt bad and the other person felt bad and it caused problems. So maybe she just takes a
Yes.
more cautious approach,
Mhm.
but maybe in a way that's not as comfortable to you. Because I understand if somebody's giving you hope and then someone says, yeah, about that, like
Yeah.
that, I can see that as difficult.
Yeah.
And, so maybe she's just trying to tread lightly. maybe
Yeah.
that's a way
It
to
would be
look at it.
good to know if that's the case. It would be good to
Yeah.
know, get a lot of these questions answered.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
as I said, I've got super colorful papers with my questions on them because I have a habit of losing everything. So super colorful pieces of paper. Wee man knows if it's colorful, don't throw it out. If it's white, I don't care.
Right. Right.
So,
It's not colorful. It's like
well, we're talking about not that paper, a different paper. um, so I'm trying my best to keep it all settled and it not settled in my head,
Yeah.
calmer
Yeah.
Mhm.
by writing it down. But then,
Yeah.
like um, a, f- a friend of mine had said I could very well be dehydrated because it's happened for him. But I'm telling you, I've hydrated and I've hydrated and I've hydrated today.
Mhm.
My muscles in my calves and the one spot on my arm is like viciously twitching,
Stress.
Oh,
viciously.
yeah.
Stress.
So I was told it might be anxieties and stress. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and hydrate because I know me. I drink a lot of caffeine. And when I'm lower energy, mental energy too, when I'm lower mental energy, I'm drinking coffee because it
Yeah.
helps me feel a tiny bit more perky.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm trying to get that little bit of perk in my step instead of being like, well, F the world. So I'm like, okay,
Understand
very
that.
possibly I could be dehydrated, but now I'm like, I'm certain I'm not dehydrated. It has to be stress. It has to be anxiety.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, and
my
you have
body's reacting everything.
a lot that you're going through. I mean, it's one thing, sometimes the trauma responses, the trauma happens, you kind of freak out, then you realize, okay, wait a minute. I've got to pull myself together. I've got to get through this. I've got to get the resources. I've got to start getting answers. I've got to get things in motion. And you kind of start doing that. And then you get to a point where you've kind of done everything. And then everybody has that point where you just feel like you plateau and it stops and
Yeah.
it's not going anywhere. And the
Yeah.
reason it's
Okay.
not going anywhere, of my experience, is that everything behind the scenes is working. The reason it levels off is because everything has to be worked through and seen and dealt with, and your part is done right now. And then when you've plateaued, you start healing, right? Because you've made the decisions, you've done the things. Now you have to wait for the professionals to do their things, right? Which is never fast and it's never fun and it's never easy. But in that time, you're healing yourself. Well, then you kind of are reliving it again, but you're reliving it in a much more real way because now you've had other people tell you, whether it's a peer support group or professionals, like, that was bad. That was scary.
Yeah.
Wow, we're proud of you. And then you really start looking at it and then you get angry. And then you get angry because you can't leave as fast as you want to leave because you're
Yeah.
ready to, just like load up and, kick the tires and light the fires and get down the road. And you can't.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
then you're stuck again. And then that just builds frustration. So
Yeah.
you're at, like if the tunnel's this long, like you're here, right?
Okay.
It still feels like you're way down here, but like really you're here. And really, what you're waiting on is the people that know what they're doing to do what they're supposed to do. You've done everything you need to do. You've done everything you can do. You've got a list of questions. You're asking the right questions. You're getting
Just need to
different
wait.
perspectives to help you to maybe think about asking a different question. So, like if
Yes.
it were me and I went in tomorrow, I would be, hey, it really kind of upset me or concerned me when you said this might not happen this way. Could you explain that to me further? Help me understand what you meant by that statement. Because, then that attorney can say, oh, well, there's a 90, and I'm just making shit up here. There's a 98% chance that you can. But on that 2% chance, I didn't want to get your hopes up. Or maybe
Okay.
there's something bigger that because the other attorney, this really wasn't her line of work, maybe she gave you some hope that she shouldn't have. and the other
Yeah.
one's just saying, hey, this is my lane and this is what we're looking at. And I'm not trying, I know it really sounds like I'm taking your balloon and I'm like, and that's not at
No,
all what I'm
no.
trying to do. I'm just trying to kind of, because for me, this would help me to better ask questions, because then I can be
Exactly.
like, I don't understand this. Can you help me understand this? And then, maybe the other thing you could say is, if this is just a custody case, and I don't mean just like,
Yes.
but this isn't a divorce and a custody issue. This is a custody issue.
Mhm.
How long is this? How long would something like this typically take? And the one thing I always follow things up like that with is, I'm not going to hold you to that, but give me an idea of a time frame so that I know. And if she says, most of them will say, well, every case is different, but on average, it's 3 months, 6 months,
X amount of time.
2 days,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Then
Yeah.
because right now you're just kind of in a holding pattern. And maybe that's something you could tell her. I'm in a holding pattern right now. I understand I've done everything I can do on my end. I understand that you're here to help me. The language barrier is very frustrating to me. I'm living in, whatever you're living in right now. I
Mhm.
just need to get to a place where I feel like I have some autonomy over my own body and my life. And I really need to know what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
And because for me, that's what helps. I'm not saying that helps everybody, but maybe in there's a little bit of something that might help.
No, that helps me greatly because, like, even when I first came on, I had no idea the questions to ask. I was just too heightened, too overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And as an ADHDer, you ruminate. And if you can't close that loop, the loop will forever go.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the point that I'm getting to again with trying to understand it all. So this helps a lot, because then I'm able to, like, once we're done, I'm able to, like, get off the stream and be like, okay, so this is the things, and be like,
Yeah.
you might end up with a message being like, what did I forget?
You're fine. Well, and that's why you see me, like, you guys, I always keep a pen and paper, and you guys see me and I'm writing stuff down, because sometimes stuff that you guys say so resonates with me. I'm like, oh, I need to write that down right now so I don't forget it, because I think it's so
Yes.
amazing, But and it's one of those things that, unfortunately, people that are going to have a lot of wisdom in it have really been through the ringer in it. And so, it's like, when you come out of this, you're going to have a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
But you're going to be like, okay, so this is going to take about a year. This is how you're going to feel, but this is where you're going to be, and I think sometimes even just having that positive, like, hey, I get you're not to the end yet, and it feels like you're not, but you're closer than you think. And sometimes even just having people validate, look, you really
Yes.
have done what you've needed to do. And, here's a few things
Yeah.
that I would ask if it were me. Maybe it applies, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe you think it's the good. Oh, Christy had this great point. Maybe the attorney's like, yeah, that's a good one. Next. You never know.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah.
know with me. But
Yeah.
I think you're doing a good job. I really do. And
Thank you.
I think it's just where you're at and where it landed you. And it's normal. It's normal to get really angry at this point. It's normal to get frustrated. It's normal to get sad. It's normal to, like, just want to scream and yell, and it's normal to cry, and it's normal to have all of those emotions, because the truth of the matter is, even though you might be angry right now, like, you are grieving the loss of something, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
but it's not the
Yes.
loss of something that was removed from this planet. It's a loss of something that you are still going to see that person every time you drop off your son. You're
Yes.
still going to see that, and there'll be parts of you that will be okay with it sometimes, and then there will be parts of you that just fall apart other times, and there will be parts of you that might even romanticize it a little bit. I mean, right now you're really angry in it, but there might be a time where you're like, yeah, that was kind of good, and that's all normal too. And it's going to be you might find it being the longer that it takes you to heal, the more thorough you heal yourself. So don't rush yourself through it, but you're going to find a lot of things because you are grieving. So, you're going to, go through that process, and it's never linear. I mean, I wish life was a straight line, but I'm a firm believer that it is like it's here and then it's here and then it's there and then it does this and then it's back over here and then it's up there. Like, I
Mhm.
don't believe anything in life is linear. And, but you're doing really good. And I just want to say, you have come so far since that first night that we talked, and in your growth and your participation and what you're doing and learning. And you've got a lot. I mean, between your sobriety journey and, getting out of this 11-year, relationship and all of the stuff that entails, and being in a country where you don't even speak the language, I couldn't even imagine.
Oh,
And trying to deal with all of it, it's it's a lot,
mhm.
and let yourself accept that it's a lot, and let yourself, you know, sit in that for a few minutes. You don't always have to be
Mhm.
strong, you know.
That's one thing a counselor here also told me when still trying to like process it. So it's handy coming. It just sounds really stupid, but it helps me more when it comes from you guys than when it comes from them. So she was like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel, he's going to see these things anyways.
Yeah.
And the best thing you can do is in front of him, maybe not like full on sob, like, not like really nasty sob, but I'm crying because of this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean that you should feel different, but I'm crying because of this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then that way, at least he understands that I don't have to be made happy, because that was one thing I said to them was, I'm nervous that this is what he's thinking, because this is not his job. Like,
Mhm.
it's my job to heal myself. It's my job to do this. Like, within the first couple of weeks of starting this new journey,
Mhm.
yeah, he ended up trying to be like, well, Mom, look, I'm smiling at you, smile at me. And it's like, see, now I'm seeing an issue with this. I'm seeing a problem with this. No, I can't always smile.
Mhm.
That's the first factor. And then second factor is, what am I teaching him if I'm doing that?
Yeah.
What am I teaching him? Because I was smiled at when things were wrong at home.
Yeah.
And I truly believed that there was nothing wrong. And then I read my mother's diary
Yeah.
Right.
long after she had passed. Long after she had passed. And oh my God, it broke me. So I'm not wanting to teach him that same thing. I want to stop that cycle.
Right on.
Well, and that's really that's very self-aware of you. And I just want to say this too. Um, Different people have different love languages. Some people's language is service. Some people's love
Yes.
language is, touch and affection. So I think as long as you are um, doing things in a healthy way, like, you know, if you're crying and he's like, Mommy, look, I'm smiling, smile back. You can say, I'm smiling because you have warmed my heart. And then it's validating what he's done, right? He made
Mm-hmm.
Mom smile, and
Mm-hmm.
that makes him feel happy. And you're not taking away from it, but you're also not making small of your emotions. And so I think there's a lot too when it comes to, I noticed with the whole pile of kids I got, each one of them has their own way that they show love. And
Yes.
they're very, very, very different. Like my son would be like, Mom, I aired up your tires. But, my middle daughter, like my personal middle daughter, would be like, do you want me to go punch somebody out? So I mean, it's just a complete different. And then my oldest daughter would be like, I'm here. What do you need to say to me? And so everybody has their own way. And so, don't overthink that too much, because he
Okay.
understands that this is, I don't want to say not normal and make you think you're doing anything wrong, but it's just not a normal thing that most people go through. And he understands that. And they're kids are so resilient. Oh my gosh, so resilient. And he's seeing you come on these meetings, and he's seeing you do these things, and he's seeing you, um, like talk to people. And I do really think, and I believe that you can identify any way you want to be identify, but I do believe that little boys really want to take care of their moms because I think it's just a little boy thing. I think it's a man thing. I
Okay.
think it's a boy thing. I think it's a little boy thing. And I think in that instance, he's just wanting to be your little man, and like
Gotcha.
he's just wanting to, because if he's seen that whole DV thing happen, he couldn't really protect you, right? But this is the time where he can. And I think just saying, wow, like, thank you for loving mama so much. I'm so glad you're here. Like validating that in him, because just like you're looking for validation, so is he. And
Okay.
I think, just as long as you're doing healthy things, I think you're fine. I mean, if he's like, Mom, I got it, one day I'm gonna have a big job and I'm gonna make all of this money and we're gonna be fine, you can be like, you know what? I'm here for you, little man. Whatever you want to do, I am right here helping you out, like, because
Yeah.
I think that's just how little boys are.
Okay.
And
Okay. See,
that's
my
been
older
my
one's a
experience.
girl.
Hmm.
My older one's a girl, and I lost many years with her. So it feels like a completely new thing
Yeah.
all over again. Like even when I was pregnant with him, it was like, what is this noise? Like I was not prepared. Felt like
Right.
it was the first time all over again. So I quite appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And little boys are much different than little girls in every
Yeah.
way. I mean, and but they do, and I think that's where it comes from, because if you go to if you come to a girl, a woman with a problem, we're gonna listen and we'll be like, oh yeah, you go
Yeah.
to a man with a problem, they want to fix it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Mhm.
straight out the gate, they're like, let's fix the problem,
Mhm.
and so
Mhm.
you know
I recognize that for sure. Like I guess even with my dad, there's that factor as well. And I don't know how to, I can't stop him from doing it. I
Mhm.
know that he's in his old age and I know that there's not going to be a way to like help him process that, but it's
Mhm.
you want to fix and then you want to fix so bad that we have to disconnect, and that's just an unhealthy cycle that we've been doing. It's around, buddy, it's still talking. It's right there. It's just this unhealthy cycle that we've been doing my whole life,
Mhm.
that I think now that I've literally uprooted everything in my life. This separation, I have uprooted everything.
Mhm.
Like there was no possible way that with Mandrew there was going to be like a legal aspect or things like that.
Mhm.
But here, like I care that much and I need to protect that much that it is there. It's going to be there. And I don't care how evil anybody thinks I am for speaking my own truth.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am starting to worry about some of those things, but I keep getting little things on Instagram. It's like, you know what? Somebody's always going to be with your ex saying that you were the crazy one, saying that you were the broken one, but that's okay. They're both smoking something that they shouldn't be.
That's right.
Well,
So it's just like,
you know what I say? This is my thing. If I'm gonna be the villain in your story, make me a damn good villain. Like I want to outdo any Disney villain that there ever was. If I'm the bad one, make me the bad one. And
yes.
because it is true, and you know what? And here's another thing that I learned, and I don't. It took me a long time to get here, but I don't care what they say. I don't care what my ex tells his whatever girlfriend. I don't care what Dallie's dad, what my oldest daughter's dad says about me. One, it's none of my business what they say, and two, I really don't care, because the
Yeah.
thing is, if they were to ever meet me and spend any time around me, they would know I'm not that person. But you know what? I might have been that person when I was with them, because I
Yes.
wasn't who I am now. So that version of Christy that my ex knows, because my ex does not know this version of me. My oldest daughter's dad does not know this version of me. And so, yeah, I probably was really that bad. I mean, I can't
Mm-hmm.
say that I wasn't.
Yeah.
And an interesting thing that I take with me, this is kind of weird, but follow me here. Our our chemicals, our body, our biology changes, and so, and our skin and all of that. So if you have not like actually touched somebody in, I think is it like a couple of months maybe, like you are not the same person. Like they have not touched that same skin that you have. So you right now are not even the same person that you were when you were with him,
That's
when
right.
you were
Exactly.
with any of them. So, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
hey, I'm like, go ahead and talk about that old Christy. We'll sit down, we'll share stories. Do you want to hear about the old Christy? Let's dredge that up. But you know, but really it's not up to me what they say. I don't care what they say,
That's
because
right.
Yeah.
that person is long gone. And like I said,
Yeah.
you know, one of the kids made me out to be a bad person. And I said, well, make me a good one, would you? I
Yeah.
mean, you know, make me memorable.
Yes.
Can you
You want
see
to show now?
Zelda's comment stuff yet?
I did. Thank you so much, Zelda. And you know what? I'm extremely lucky. He is so happy, so vibrant. And you know what? The last 3 days, we did so many crafts, so many pieces of art that we like covered completely a wall here. And I'm like, I know I shouldn't be taking a picture, but I have to. So there has to be like 30 pieces of art between the two of us in the last 3 days, just trying to keep me busy for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he truly enjoys it. So why not? He likes being creative. So why not feed that and keep him going with that, right?
Now,
Hey,
what month was he born in?
he's born July.
Okay.
We moved on his birthday. P.S. It
Oh,
was
good.
devastating for me to see the change in him. Devastating. There you go.
This is my spider.
My spider.
Gotcha. Spider. Nice.
Yeah, a little Lego spider. Here, we'll get closer.
It's a Minecraft spider.
Minecraft spider.
Ah, nice. I love
Is
it.
the Minecraft Christy on there?
She's not on there right now, but I promise we can talk to her soon,
Is she
okay?
in the chat?
I think she's in the chat. She's probably listening for sure. Remember her hand was sore? Yeah. Yeah. So July, I can't remember his sign actually. I can never remember either one of their signs. I remember mine, but that's only because I was told so young and I had one friend who was like super into it, but astrology's never really been my thing.
Right.
Other than I understand now I should never date anybody with a birthday close to mine. Never.
Well, it can either
So
go really, really good or really sideways.
Andrew and I's birthday are 2 days apart. And then with He Who Shall Not Be Named, it's exactly 1 month and 6 days apart. So I'm like, no, somebody needs to be at like mid-year next time. Like
Right.
if I do this again, it's mid-year, nowhere close to mine.
Well,
Mhm.
you know, it's so was it the beginning part or the end part of July?
He is the beginning part, the third.
Because believe it or not, that does have some things to, yeah. So he's a Cancer, which is what I thought. So
Oh, the previous person? Oh, yes, sorry. That you mean
no,
the He Who Shall Not Be Named?
no. Little man.
Rowan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Little Man is July 3rd. Is Cancer really?
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh.
So Cancers are very, very loyal. They're very protective. They're a water sign, so they're really emotional. But the interesting thing about a Cancer, which is represented by a crab, is crabs cannot go in a straight line. So crabs can only move diagonally. So if you ever need to run away from a crab, just run in a straight line. So they always come at you. They've got to come at you sideways. So they can only come like
Okay.
this and like this and like this. So they're kind of like the pawn, like what is it, the knights in chess that can only move like certain directions. So and they're very like hard shelled. So they're really tough to get to know. They're really tough to open up. But once you kind of get inside that shell, it's like really mushy and watery and like that kind of thing. So that's where it's coming from with him, is he's just
Okay.
very protective of you. He's going to be very protective of his family in general, and really emotional, and can be really kind of pinchy when he gets mad,
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but not quite burn it down like a Scorpio. Cancer is a water sign. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the sign of emotions. And I found for me, you know, the water sign. So, you know, there's a whole lot that goes into astrology that's really kind of a lot of fun. But,
Okay.
you know, the water signs tend to be more emotional. The air signs like Aries or Aquarius, which is what I am, more intellectual, and we're more like Dr. Spock. So that's why I pop the balloon, and why I have the BMW story is because I'm like, my brain took over that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Aquarius too, by the way.
Are you? Okay. There
Yes.
you go. There you go. Also,
And it's funny, somebody used a Groundhog's Day reference, I think it was today. I'm born on Groundhog's Day.
my goodness. Well, and Aquarius is the least common zodiac sign. Scorpio is
Really?
common, because February is such a short month. Actually, the least common. It's the least common zodiac sign. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where some of that comes in. And you know, some people really believe in it, some people don't. I think I have found for myself that over, you know, if you can kind of get somebody's like sun sign, which is the most common sign that people tell you, most of the time you're going to be pretty right on. You know, I mean, there's, like I said, a lot more to it. But yeah. Awaken says, interesting thing I learned concerning adoption and astrology a few months back. Oh, okay. Yeah, I love, like, I mean, I know all the astrology stuff, all of the energies and all of the, like, that's my thing. I'm like, oh, I love it.
The tiny little chicken. Yeah, you want to come see? Okay, hold on. Get your mask. Get your mask. You can just put that one. That's fine. Nope. He needs. I'm like, you can just put the top one. He's like, nope. I need both. Can you not put the bottom one on, because I want them to see your tooth? Thank you.
Yes.
So at 2:00 in the morning, 2 nights ago, I get woken up from a dead sleep. I lost my tooth. See it in there?
I see
It's
it.
gone.
It's gone.
And then here, I'll get this closer for you. It's a little chicken up here with Carol. Come here. Oh, he wants the other one now. Such
Misha,
pretty
yes,
colors.
I would love to hear your story, Misha. That is my get down right there. I love that.
Oh my gosh. Right? He's like, oh my God.
Yeah, little man. Look at his little feathered feet.
Oh my God. He's like, I want over there. There. He jumped at the computer, I think.
I love little birds. They're so adorable.
He's a mess. He's a mess.
And I'm just noticing right now the 3CPO ornament right off to the left of, or on my screen, the left of me here.
And the other
Huge
one is-
Star Wars fan. Huge Star Wars fan. And Doctor Who. So.
Oh, yeah, did you see my TARDIS earlier? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And
I have a TARDIS teapot.
Star Trek communicator. It actually, like, when you put a battery in it, it'll actually have like Spock and Kirk saying.
Oh my God.
It's pretty cool.
Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Let me see this for a second. So I'm supposed to show you guys this.
Oh, I love it! I love it!
It also says hi, rolling yellow.
But yes, the smiles, like honestly, the smiles come so naturally with him around.
Yeah.
But there is just sometimes where I'm like, no, mom just can't right now. But I'm human, and I have to remember that I'm human, and I can't always be
Show them
on.
this.
No, I'm not going to show them a piece of paper. Hey, not right in front of my camera, please. Question, does C3PO have 2 gold legs
It's
or
always
what?
been
Oh,
that I remember. You know, he may, you know, every once in a while, he has had red, like when he's had repair parts put in and stuff.
I did think that the leg had to be repaired at one point, and I'm trying to remember if it was a series or one of the movies. It would have been one of the newer movies if it was, but I'm pretty sure he had a silver leg because of that
Okay.
injury, so to speak. So I don't know. I'd actually have to go back and take a look.
I need to go back and notice those things too. Come here.
And, oh my goodness.
And I
Oh my
wouldn't know. Chris says 1 silver leg in 1 movie.
There we go. Okay, so I thought so, but I couldn't fully remember. It's been about 2 years since I've actually watched the Star Wars movies, and I was like religious. We would watch like 1 through 6 every Mother's Day because that's my thing.
Uh-huh.
Like all day we would have Star Wars on the TV. I didn't care what anybody thought.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
see, that's how Michael is. He watches. Wait, is this the right thing? Star Wars is the one with the Mandalorian, right? And the little baby Yoda thing, right?
Yep, Grogu.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Michael,
See, even he knows.
yeah, he comes back and he's like, "Oh, we got to catch up on the Mandalorian," and I
love
literally
The
I sit there and
Mandalorian.
I'm like,
Great series. It really is.
"Yeah, that's
It is.
awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see that." He's just like, "You are not paying attention," and I'm like, "No, because I just want to sit next to you. So if you're watching Star Wars or Star Trek or Peaky Blinders or whatever weird thing you come up with, not that any of those are weird, but like I'll watch them."
Yeah. Oh my God. No, and then Star Trek was more a recent thing for me that I started getting into.
Yeah.
My neighbor across the road when we were living in rural Ontario was super, super into it. And we like connected over Harry Potter and Doctor Who. And then she gave me, I think it was like a dozen Star Trek books to read. And then I was like, oh my God, we got to start at the William Shatner series and we got to keep going.
You know, there's a channel called H&I, Heroes and Icons. And
Okay.
6 nights a week, they do all 5 Star Trek series. The original one, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
And have you watched the new?
Pluto, on Pluto, they have Star Trek channels.
Ooh. Okay.
They tend to
Did you watch the
out of order.
which one was it? Oh my God, why can't I think of it right now? It was like more of a nostalgia thing. I do. Did you guys hear that?
No. What do you say?
He's just like, I'm like, why can't I remember this right now? And he goes, because you have ADHD.
You don't have some too.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. The older bald guy, Captain. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Oh, isn't it Picard?
Yes.
Isn't it
Picard.
Picard?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I knew. Look at me. Oh, what?
But have you seen that series yet? The Picard series? No.
Yes,
I loved it.
Yes, I've seen them all. I've seen all of that. Yeah. Yep. We keep up with all the new stuff too. I love the Pike one, Strange New Worlds.
I
Yeah.
just want to say, Zelda, wow, it's a good thing you have a Pisces moon, or you would be a lot. But we'd love you anyway. We'd love your confidence.
Yeah, Strange New Worlds is awesome. It's like it's the closest that any of the newer ones have come to the hopefulness
Really?
that Star Trek represents.
Oh, wow. See, I only watch
I think she's getting one, Lord Kiss Freak. I mean, if you pay attention to the very end of the Picard series, I feel like that was them maybe kind of giving something away that there is a series that's her.
I'm really hoping so.
But that's my guess. That's my
I love 7 of 9.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I have a
here we go, all nerdy all of a sudden.
No, go nerdy.
yeah, I think so. But what was I going to say? I have a little goat named Seven, but she actually literally has a 7 mark on her face. I mean, a perfect 7. I should post a picture of her.
Isn't that amazing how that
It
happened?
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
One of
Yeah,
my crystals has a C on it, like a perfect C. And I'm like, that's mine.
It was waiting for you.
It was meant to be.
Yes. I, though, am going to have to go because I promised him that he could video call our old neighbors. They ended up adding each other on Facebook Kids Messenger. So he wants to come say bye as well. But I promised him that he would call, and that's why he's at me right now. He's like, "But are you done yet? Because I want to do this." So I'm like, "Okay, I understand. I'll give you those graces. Give me a minute."
Right. Nice.
Hey, superhero.
Superhero. Thanks for stopping in.
Good night. Thank you so much, and have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
It's
Good.
almost battery. It's almost so battery nice.
Nice.
So adorable.
Oh.
Hasn't she just grown so much? It's beautiful to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
I think we're all growing.
Yeah.
I think that's a. I don't know. I feel like we're growing. As people, and we're learning and all of that good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and everybody's growing in such different ways too. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. She's amazing.
yes. Well, and Misha, and all of the amazing things that are happening with you. And I just wanted to say, I know you had said in on the lifeboat, you had asked Tommy to, maybe show up in court. Depending on where that's at and when it is, let me know because I'm in the South and I'm not too far from some places.
And
So
I'm definitely close if I can help
yeah, so
at all.
if you would like me to show up, let me know and I'll sort it out on my end. Henny, hello. Nice to see you. 7th, I go every year between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Baton Rouge. Okay.
Okay.
Put down
Oh, okay. Okay.
February. Okay. Yeah. Well, as you get more information, let me know. Because if I can show up to
Came
school.
back after feeding them.
How awesome. How awesome. Misha says it would be really appreciated not to have to do it alone, especially
Yes.
with yeah.
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 I bet we could figure that out. And if nothing else, I can tag team. If somebody can't be there, I can be there for a certain bit of time. I think I can get some help with the farm. Yeah. I bet we could figure that out. I think Baton Rouge is, I don't know, 9-10 hours for me, drive wise.
Let's see.
It's right near the border, so that helps. It's not way down in the state from where I drive from. Oh, little man. Little man. Little chicken man.
Let's see for me how far it is.
Do you have, Misha, do you have court dates yet? Is there a trial set?
Not- This is being ridiculous.
I'm going to put him to bed real quick.
Well, I'm trying to Google it, but I'm not coming up with anything. Usually.
No, sheepy by time. It's sheepy by time. Come on. Come on, it's sheepy by. Sheepy by time. Yeah, it's sheepy by time.
Awakened, found out from the other girl who was sister that they are trying both cases together, and first day is February 1st, or just sometime in February. Yeah, let me know. Because if I can sort it out, I will. Absolutely will.
Yeah, same.
And I don't really know why I wouldn't be able to sort it out. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I blanked it mentally because I couldn't handle this lot at the time. I'll check real quick. Yeah, that's okay.
Understood.
You get it
That's
bad.
so
Yeah.
understandable. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Oh, man. Yeah.
that would be. That's something, show support. Show support.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of announcements too. I guess the Life Post hit 16,000 subscribers,
Yay.
which was really cool.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, for everybody, just a little blurb. It does really help with the algorithm, so please like, share, subscribe, hit the comment, leave a comment.
Guys.
That way we can help more people who need to find us. Because the more that we get those kind of things and shout outs and things, then the more that people can find us.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Good.
Yeah. I always forget to say that.
So we're waiting for that to come back.
So I have a funny story while we're waiting for that.
Okay. Okay.
Talking to my little nephew for Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and I let's see, hold on. Oh my gosh, for some reason I go to pull up to find the date. You'll never believe what I'm looking at. Carol, I saw your beautiful Christmas tree with all the beautiful ornaments and their meaning, along with the lovely music. Thank you so much for sharing.
Aw, thank you, Henny. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. Yeah. That for those of you who don't know what she's talking about, I have ornaments that I've had since about a year after rehab, and I usually try to get at least one new ornament for my Christmas tree a year because it represents a Christmas I survived. Christmases have traditionally been a difficult thing for me. As I get older, it gets easier, and I have my son in my life now, and that helps,
Yeah.
but boy, it used to be an agonizing time. And each one of those ornaments on that tree reminds me, okay, I got through that one. We'll get through this one if it's a hard one. And and there were some hard ones.
Yeah.
There used to be a store in Escondido when I was living in San Diego that I'd make it part of my Christmas tradition every year to go there. You could go there, and they had all these rooms with all these different Christmas themes. I mean, it was a wonderland. I mean, you didn't have to spend a dime there to just go there and be amazed. but I always tried to get a Christmas ornament as a souvenir, from each of those.
Yeah.
A lot of the ornaments on the tree came from there. It's no I looked it up a year or two ago, and sadly it looks like it's no longer in business, but it was a really neat place.
Nice. Henny says, good idea. This will grow for sure as talking mental health is so needed.
Yeah. Yeah, we may need to make it a normal as talking about a sprained ankle.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and my lights just got brighter all of a sudden. I don't know why that happened, but okay. February 7th at 9 a.m. Okay.
Okay.
I'm writing it down.
February 7th was the day that I flew into San Diego, and I didn't know that was going to be the beginning of my sobriety journey.
Well, then it sounds like February 7th is a gorgeous day. It's a good date to start something.
It was the date that I originally thought was my sobriety date, but then I forgot about the box of wine that I had with the DR situation, and I forgot about it because I never did get to get drunk off of that box. The more I drank, the more sober it felt like I was getting, and I was not going to be getting out of that situation. So, yeah, it was one of those things that I readily put out of my mind, blanked out, and then I had to remember, after I'd accepted my 30-day chip on the 7th. Oops. And I told the meeting leader, and he said it's okay. And so then I just kind of made up for it the next month and waited to get my 60-day chip on the right day.
Yeah.
Sobriety day.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, beginning. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's the number that begins, that 7 represents as new beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the number 7. It's a good number.
Yes, it is.
Well, let me tell you my funny story, and then we can, that way we can end on a laugh because this is really funny, and then we can end it however you want. So I was talking to my nephews, the 2 little nephews that thought I was a troll. All right. So the youngest one, which is also why I posted that picture in the group of my eyelash on the empty paint can. I don't know if y'all seen that, but that's a thing.
Yes, I saw it. It was great.
Today they called and they're like, hey, Christy, how are you? Blah, 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 And so I was talking to my youngest nephew, who's hilarious. I have so many stories about him. But anyway, I asked him, I said, well, what do you want for Christmas? And he listed off this toy that I don't even know what it is. But I'm like, well, do you think you'll get that for Christmas? And he goes, no, probably not. It's really expensive. And I'm like, oh, what do you think you will get for Christmas? This little kid, he goes, oh, some coal. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, now surely you're going to get something other than coal. This kid did not even skip a beat, y'all. All right. He goes, no, it's okay, Aunt Christy. I want coal because I can throw it at my brother and start fires. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I called and I left a voice clip for my brother and sister-in-law. And I'm like, y'all, I got to tell you what your kid just said. Don't be like, Aunt Christy snitched on you. But that was the funniest thing I had heard all day. Let me get after him real quick.
Oh, so does he think he's going to get cold because he has a troll for an aunt?
No, because apparently he's been really awful in school. And my brother, who looks like Yukon Cornelius, has had to go into and talk to the principal lots of times and the teacher. And he sasses the teacher back. The teacher will be like, take out your books and do this. And he's just like, no, I really don't want to do that right now. And she's like, you kind of don't have a choice. And he's like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. This is the same kid. I'll tell one more story. This is really hilarious. So this is how he is, just to give you all an idea. So this was the same instance as the troll thing. Okay. So my sister-in-law had already gone on the road. My brother was out working on the ranch, and my littlest nephew comes up, and he's got on these little like shorts and nothing else. And he comes out in the morning and he like leans up against the fridge. Now my brother is so ornery. Y'all got to understand, but he like puts one arm up and he leans against the fridge like this, and he pops his hip and he puts his hand on there, and he's like, Aunt Christy. And I'm just like, oh, okay. He goes, I want jelly beans for breakfast. Can I have jelly beans for breakfast? And he's just like chilling on the side of this fridge like he's some sort of like I was like, no, you cannot have jelly beans for breakfast. And while we're at it, go put some britches on. And he goes, are you sure? He's like, you sure I can't have jelly beans for Christmas? And I'm like, no, you are for breakfast. I'm like, no, you absolutely cannot have jelly beans for breakfast. So he goes, I'm like, go put your clothes on, you know. So then my brother comes home, and I always blame my brother for everything that my nephews do. I'm like, look, I don't know what you do when I'm not here, but this is what your little son, your little child here did. And so I'm like, and he just started laughing. He turned red and he goes, yeah, well, we're gonna have problems with that one. I'm like, oh, there's no we're gonna, you got him. They're just gonna get worse. Because he is so funny because he's cute and he knows it, and so he just doesn't even care. He's got like blonde hair and blue eyes, you know. And I'm just like, oh man, you know. Yes, you know, go back, Henny, and listen to it is I have some of the best stories. The funniest story.
Indeed.
But you know, we could just have Christy's crazy comedy hour. And the thing is, it's all true, which is what makes them even more funny. It's not like I'm just making them up. They're real.
Well, my battery is about to die. So if we get disconnected in the middle of anything, that's why. Maybe I should go get my charger.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to think of more stories and write them down so we can always end on a funny, happy, lighthearted note. Michi, yes, these meetings are so great. I love coming here, hanging out with you guys and talking through things, and you know, making you guys laugh. I always love it when I can make somebody laugh, you know, share some sort of crazy story. They're all good.
Okay.
All right.
Woo, sorry about that, y'all.
Oh,
Okay. There we go. Nick of time.
well, I think I've had a meeting.
I feel like I've had a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good stuff, y'all. And it's because y'all are here. That's why. So
Hey.
good.
Well, and I love that it's interactive.
Yeah.
Like that's what makes it the best.
Yeah. Nice.
To go pick for my deadline. All right.
Okay.
Well, did we want to do some box breathing, a meditation? Do you want to do
Yeah.
the meditation? What do you guys want to do?
Whatever. If you don't mind leading us in it, we'll do whatever you feel led to do.
All right. Let's see. Well, let's definitely do some box breathing, and then we might just do a short little meditation. I know where you're at is kind of a cool room, and where I'm at is kind of a cool room. So we'll go somewhere warm in our meditation, right? Warm us up.
Definitely.
Okay. Oh, wait. Misha, what did you learn today? Let us know that before we do our thing. Since you brought it up. It's something good. You can hear the wind blowing outside.
I heard something, and it sounded like the heater coming on, but I kept looking around because I don't know how I would hear a loud heater in this room. It was
Right,
weird.
right.
So I wondered if it was the weather. We need to learn
So
to connect with ourselves better. So let's try this hugging ourselves. Okay.
yeah, we can do that. Yeah, you can hug yourselves while we do our breathing, and then I can do a meditation around that. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Let's do that. All right. Okay, so we'll do 3 of the box breaths, and then we'll go into a short little meditation around something warm and hugging ourselves. And yeah, go ahead and hug yourself good and tight. Give yourself a good tight squeeze, and we'll do 3 of the box breaths and drop into the meditation. All right. So as we get ready to do our box breathing, go ahead and give yourself a nice tight hug and drop into your heart space. Whether that's just imagining yourself going into a room that represents your heart, or actually going down into the energy center that we call our heart chakra. Gonna do 3 box breathing breaths. Breathe in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and release. And as we breathe in, think warm, happy thoughts. And as you exhale, release anything that no longer serves you. Breathe in, hold, and exhale. Letting your shoulders drop. Breathe in, hold, exhale. And last one, breathe in, hold, and exhale. Letting your shoulders drop. Imagine that we are on a beautiful beach at sunset. The white, warm sand between your toes and warm ocean breeze blowing. And as you stand here basking in the sunlight, as it sinks down to go to bed, feeling the ocean breeze blow your hair and warm your body, you wrap your arms around yourself and you give yourself a great big hug, squeezing tighter. Just giving yourself that self-love that you need to feel confident, to go in the direction of your dreams, to get past all of the challenges that you have. As you look off into the distance, you see each and every one of us standing on the edge of the ocean. And we turn and look at you and we smile and we wave. And as you walk toward us, it's going to take you 5 steps to get to us. And with each step, you release something that no longer serves you and you hug yourself a little tighter. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. Step 4. And finally, step 5. And now we all release our hugs and we hug each other. And we say how glad we are that each one is represented in our lives, that we can all be here together on this beach at sunset, feeling warm and happy. And as you take a moment to enjoy this time with your beloved friends, look around and just enjoy the beautiful things around you and let it soak in. And now find a rock and pick it up and hold it in your hand and focus anything that is not beneficial, anything that might still be remaining into that rock and throw it as fast and as far into the sunset as you can, watching it skip across the water and slowly sink to the deep depths of the ocean. And now grabbing each other's hands, we stand and face together confidently in the direction of our future, with the past behind us and all of our dreams in front of us and the goals and the things that we wish to do. And we grab each other's hands and know that we are not alone on this journey. And as you soak in that moment, when you are ready, open your eyes. That was a good one.
It was.
Thank you for that. Um, okay. Oh, Seventh, that's okay that you couldn't post it. Okay, I'm with it. All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for letting me be here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.
It's Christy.
Mhm.
You guys, thank you for being here. It's never a meeting without you. I couldn't do this without you at all. And you're making this dream a reality of us being able to have meetings. It'd be neat if we could do impromptu ones, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to have a close enough group that if someone needs to call a meeting, just like the show mom, like they did in the final seasons, that can happen as well. So I have to say, I was smiling, almost crying. And I guess I was so into my heart that I called my boo. She was calling me. Hello. Huzzah. We forgot our huzzahs, didn't we? Much love to you too, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being part of this. Peace, y'all.